Hi, Josh with the Everything Paranormal Show. Today, I wanted to cover something that I made a video on another channel of mine. And this was before I started the paranormal show. So I felt it was fitting to remake this video because obviously this is a paranormal channel. And this is probably going to be one of the last things that I really do involving the Chris Watts case. Because again, I feel like there is a point at which we need to give some closure to the families, or at least let them sort of be in peace. But at the same time, I just wanted to cover this from a paranormal perspective. This is something that I pointed out, maybe I think it was a little over a month ago. And it was, I think if I'm not mistaken, I was one of the first ones at the time, or one of the only ones, I guess, to really kind of point this out. And then from there, some other channels had sort of taken that and used their own take on it or whatnot. So that's fine. Again, I'm not worried about credit, but this is definitely something that, and how it came about was just like with a majority of you out there that probably clicked on this video, there's many of us that's been obsessed with this case. I mean, this seemingly normal guy, this family, and the things that we saw on YouTube and all, it's just such a horrendous case. And our heart really went out, I think, and just was like, how could this be? We all got just, and then there was this information, again, we don't always see as much of the case as this was publicly released, of all these footages and things. So we were just, again, enthralled by this case. So my wife, who was really enthralled with the case, she was like, I'd come home from work and she's like, hey, you need to watch this video, you need to watch this interview, and it was just like all of these things. And oh, look at this body cam footage, oh, look at this. So we were watching these things all the time. Well, one day we were watching the body cam footage again of the moment, as you see on the screen here, the moment in which Chris Watts sees the neighbor has this footage, and of course we all know he's panicking, he's got his hands up on his head, and he's freaking out. But one thing that we noticed when we were watching it was like, whoa, there's a section of like a commercial. And what it is it's the American Horror Story trailer. But what I found ironic about this is that this particular message came across right at this moment, not the whole trailer. Now you can watch the whole trailer, and there is, again, other imagery, but the section that came across, there's no doubt in my mind that this was not a coincidence. Okay, this was from a more of a divine intervention, whether it's, you believe it's Shanann's spirit, the Holy Spirit, or something else, but this was something, I believe, paranormal. This was above normal. This message stuck out like a sore thumb. I mean, it's like boom, right? And it even causes Chris Watts, as you'll see when we watch this video, it even causes him to say, oh yeah, and she's pregnant. So this whole time, from the time that the police showed up, and he showed up later and let him in the house, and then ended up at the neighbor's house, he didn't even tell them that she was pregnant. So this message, I believe, had a lot of significance. This particular section, as you'll see, it's very eerie. Very eerie. So let's look at this together. There we go. I'm going to roll this.
Nothing for the
Now
rest
watch
of the
at
day.
the screen. Watch right here. You see these images?
She's pregnant as well.
Oh, she's pregnant.
How far along?
14, 15 weeks.
Okay, so there, and then he brings up the footage. So that section caught my wife and I's interest, it caught our eye, and especially when you see the unborn baby, we're like, wait a minute. Well, when I did some more research and I tracked down that trailer, there was some pretty crazy similarities. Again, especially for that section. So let's take a look. And I've got some still images that we're going to talk about. So the first thing that you see is going to be the unborn baby. Okay, and as you can see, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out this is representing Nico. And not even just Nico, really, but Cece and Bella. Okay, because this is children, this is a child. All right. And now I don't have a still frame for the sort of each little nuance of the trailer, but there's sort of a blackness that fills into the veins and things like that. So again, this is very symbolic of obviously what we know of already. But again, the unborn fetus. Now, after this happens, one of the next things that you're going to end up seeing is this heart catching fire. Okay, after this blackness, the heart turns black, there's this fire. So again, think about it in this terms that obviously this represents a lot when it comes to Shanann's heart. We all know that, yes, she was questioning their relationship. She was wondering about certain things. But let's face it, he broke her heart. This evil came over and broke her heart. The fire, okay, destroying the heart, murder. All these things wrapped up into this. And the fire is interesting because this is also what's going to lead us into the next section. Now, we all remember he was loading up the gas can in the back of the truck. There was some thought and some belief that he, and I think he even, I don't remember if he mentioned it in his full interview, but blowing up that site to cover up the bodies, I believe could have ran through his mind. And maybe even at this time, even though he went to work, he obviously, the tragedy of he took care of his children, he disposed of their bodies like the trash he was. Again, I think he still may have had the intention of blowing up the site. Maybe not that day. Maybe he thought about it, but then later said, well, it might not be so good yet. But there was some possible where he was setting up that possibility. I think he took a picture of like a possible leak, or I don't know if he was planting that seed in his coworkers. But in any case, he may have had that in his heart, and that's why the message that was coming through here was showing some things. So the next thing you really see, there's explosion. So I stopped the explosion, and if you really look at the landscape, this sort of deserty landscape, I mean, this looks a lot like the area in which Shanann, the oil site. All right, I'm telling you, look, this is exact frame, or scene per scene, so to speak. I mean, look at the actual site. All right, you can see that desert sand, a little bit of shrubbery, and you know what I mean. All right, very, very similar aerial. All right, now, so the explosion, again, this is a no-brainer. Now, we come to the next real scene. A woman and looks like a male lying in a shallow grave. Direct coincidence? You tell me. Again, woman, she's in a nighttime clothes. Now, granted, she wasn't in her nighttime clothes, but she was half undressed, right? I mean, we kind of know some of this. The gas mask, again, symbolic and literal at the same time. So the gas mask, sorry if you hear extra noise, that's my dog. Anyways, the gas mask The female. Now, the male that's also in the grave, it's symbolic of Nico. Two bodies, a male and a female. Nico was a little boy. Again, in this shallow grave. And just to show you, there's the grave. Does it look pretty similar? All right. Again, I believe it was a message to the police because the cop was standing there looking at the TV. All right. So after all this, of course, the female kind of turns her head and things kind of melt away into this oil substance. And you see a skull in this oil. All right. Representing, again, the children in the oil tanks. So I wanted to spend some time to show you guys this message. I mean, you walk through these images. I would think maybe you guys can agree with me. There's something. It was definitely ironic when you go back through. I'm going to roll the clip one more time, just so you can see this message. It was just this section. I mean, look at this. It just pops in here. It just pops in here. This section, and then of course the neighbor ends up. It pops in the security footage right there. So I believe, yes, it is a message. There was a reason why that one section, that's not even the full trailer, okay? But that one section was there. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. You know, again, I don't want to keep rehashing this case over and over and over. And, you know, I'm, as you can tell, even on my channel, I don't have like a ton of Chris Watts and Ann Watts videos. But I did want to at least cover some of the things that were at least paranormal related to this case. And I didn't want to just re-upload the same exact video and commentary I did on my other channel. I wanted to kind of go back at it with a fresh take and really kind of go over it live like this with you guys and to kind of see it and explain a little bit of what I see in these messages and the parallels in this message to what happened and what we now know. Okay? And we know there's paranormal involved in this case. Guys, if you don't believe me, again, check out, I have a video of the alleged EVP of the little girl laughing when the canine was going through the house. Also, is if many of you had watched Shanann's mom and her father and brother when they were on Dr. Phil, Sandy directly referenced seeing ghosts, like Shanann's ghost, the Holy Spirit talking to her when Shanann was murdered. Okay, there's paranormal evidence in this case, and I'm sure there's more. But again, I'm sure that it's not like I want to go and ask the family and drive out there and do investigations and all that stuff. I don't want to intrude on their privacy, but certainly Sandy believes it. And while I'm talking at the end of this video, I just want you to understand this. There's people out there that had given Sandy grief about talking about seeing Shanann's ghost, and I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right. I just want to say that on the record while I am on video. It's not right for you just to blow that off as that's the way she's coping with it. I don't believe in ghosts, so therefore she's not telling the truth. She's just coping with it. Don't be like that. Don't take that away from her. Don't put your beliefs on that family. If she believes that she saw that ghost, I guarantee she saw that ghost. Whether you believe it or not, that's something you have to decide, and that's something with your faith. So keep it to yourself. Don't even sit there and give that family public grief. Keep it in your own home then. That family's gone through enough. So I just wanted to say that. Look, guys, for those of you supporters out there of this channel, those of you that are supporters of the family out there of Shanann and whatnot, I definitely want to say thank you. and continue showing your love. Continue that. But I hope you guys enjoy this as far as from a paranormal perspective. That's what I really wanted to discuss. So unless there's any like additional groundbreaking stuff, if Chris Watts comes out with some other confession, or we somehow get additional footages that may even have paranormal stuff, then I may do another video on that. But for the most part, I'm going to focus more on the show and videos discussing other paranormal stuff. Again, this is just something I felt like, hey, I had to bring that over from my other channel, since this is paranormal related, and my other channel was more like video game, a different kind of audience. So I wanted to make sure that this video, and I didn't want to just cheat and re-upload the final render on that. I wanted to do a new take, express some things to you guys, and so again, I just hope that you guys enjoyed this. And if you have any other requests on, some paranormal related stuff, always feel free. Go to my Facebook, the Everything Paranormal Show. There's a page for the show. Go there, leave some comments. I post some different pictures on there for you guys to look at paranormally and all that good stuff. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching.
Yeah.